Welcome to episode 8 of the Running with Kelly podcast, where we talk all things running. My name is Coach Kelly, and I'm a Road Runners Club of America certified running coach. And joining me today is my co-host, my best friend, my running partner, Alex Kroll. How you doing, Alex?
I'm good. How are you today, Kelly?
I'm doing great.
I'm so happy to be here. And I have to start with this, of course. We are just a couple weeks away, maybe not even, to the Heritage Hero Run, Stroll and Roll, September 9th at Seabreeze Amusement Park. There's a 5K and a 10K option. And you get to stay all day at Seabreeze Park and enjoy all the rides after you finish your race. So that's our first weekend. And then we're going to stroll on down the Thruway on September 16th, where we'll head to Beaver Island State Park on Grand Island outside of Buffalo. We have a 5K going on there for the Heritage Hero. We're going to have lunch, tons of fun family activities, basket raffles. Go to heritagehero.org today so you can register. And if you use our promo code, which is RWK, you'll get $5 off your registration. It is a great race. I'm so excited to do it. It's a great organization, so I'm really happy that we get to support that, and we get to run with friends and talk with friends here on our podcast. So I'm excited.
Thank you, Alex. It's an awesome event, so please register.
Yeah,
today, we are going to talk with our good friend and soul sister, Sarah McDonell. Sarah has been a Running with Kelly athlete for a few years now, first working on a faster 5K, then progressing up to a full marathon, and then even an ultra. Unfortunately, after her ultra, she was injured, but many injured runners will start watching soap operas and eating potato chips, but not Sarah. I'll let her share more about her inspiring story. Sarah, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, to start, actually, Alex and I were talking. We don't know what actually brought you to running in the first place, like how you started running. Maybe you've always been a runner?
I've always been into exercise, but I didn't really start running until maybe 7 years ago. So just started getting into it as my kids got a little bit older, and then just haven't stopped.
Yay!
So you started running probably like a lot of us did, where you just left from your house and started running. What made you decide you wanted to get a coach and to try to take your running to the next level?
I think I just started doing 5Ks and wanted to get faster, and then heard about Kelly's group, and then just kind of progressed from there.
I'm so glad that you started coming. I mean, the family that we have built, I think, and it's just such a great group of people at Running with Kelly. You just fit right in. You're just such a huge part of the family. And I think just even from some of the races you've done, like everybody wants to be there to cheer you on. We were talking about it before we recorded. And that's because you're such a great person to be around. We just love you, Sarah.
Oh, thanks so much. And the same goes for you guys. You guys, we're running partners and friends, and you guys have become like family to me. And I just really appreciate all the support that you've given me.
Hugs, hugs, hugs. And just so all our listeners know, we're all sharing a beverage because we're friends having a chat. So you might see us once in a while, say cheers. So you did lots of 5Ks and faster 5Ks, and then I think half marathon. But what brought you to tell us a little bit about your first marathon?
Well, I signed up for the Wine Glass Marathon in Corning, and I think that was just the next challenge that I wanted to take on. I think I worked up to maybe 18 miles, and I thought, well, maybe I could do a marathon. So signed up for that, and went through a training plan with you, and had a great experience. Although it made me hungry for more, to try and do better next time. But unfortunately, I haven't done another marathon since then. I hope to get back to it. But that same year is when I was injured. But hopefully I can get back into it.
I know when we were training for the marathon, there were a lot of us that were training for some long distances. And I think that's when you and Alex and Dan and we started running together quite a bit on Saturdays. Without divulging any, what happens during the
Hey,
run
hey,
stays
hey,
on
wait
the
a minute.
run.
What gets said on the run stays on the run, ladies.
Yeah.
So
Is
let's
there
tread
anything
lightly
about
here.
those group run, those times that we shared that stand out to you?
I think just learning more about each other and, our past experiences and just being able to connect with those experiences on a deeper level. Yeah, those have all been really important. And they just really got us through the training.
A lot better than doing it by yourself, isn't it?
Yes, for sure.
I love the group run. So after your wine glass, you registered for anything else?
Oh, mind the ducks.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. So one of the things we all find about Kelly, at least I know I do, I think you might too, she can convince you to do things that you didn't think you could do. Um, I mean, she dragged me across my first ultra, and she convinced you to do Mind the Ducks. What was your goal when you said, okay, yeah, I've done a marathon and now I want to try this ultra marathon thing? What was running through your head when you made that decision? Like, did you have a goal in mind at first, or did it take you a while to get to that point? And then talk a little bit about that experience, because that led to a lot of change in your life really after that race.
Well, I did sign up while I had COVID, so I don't know if I was fully aware of my decisions. But I kind of thought of it as, okay, this might be a good training run for a marathon, and maybe I'll get to 50K. It'll be fun to, hang out with friends and eat some food along the way. It just sounded like a really fun event, and it really was. But I think I didn't fully recover the way I should have after it. And I thought I could go right back a week later to doing some speed training. And that's when kind of like my muscles seized up and I got really bad tendonitis in my feet that led to muscle tears. And then I couldn't run for about 8 months.
Wow, 8
Yeah.
months, Sarah. So, if someone told me, like, the longest I think I've been down with an injury was maybe 6 weeks. 8 months is a long time. How did you keep from like what was that like for you? And what was your rehabbing like? And how did you keep from going from watching the soap operas and eating the chips?
Yeah.
Like, what was that like?
It was really hard. I think it was hard, not being with friends, not being with you guys, and um, just trying to figure out what to do to stay in shape and not lose too much fitness. So I turned to the pool, and I didn't really know much about swimming, but I tried to watch some YouTube videos just to kind of get the hang of even breathing. But I was really bad at first and could barely make it, 50 yards without stopping. I was just really shocked at how difficult it was. And then I started also like water jogging with the aqua jogger, but just kind of kept at it all throughout the last summer. And I don't know, that was kind of the only thing I could do. So I just went every day and tried to learn as much as I could. But it wasn't until I met a triathlon coach last August, I went down to watch the Rochester Triathlon just to see what the swim might be like. They actually canceled it last year because it was too rough. But I met a triathlon coach and he really helped me with my swim technique, to help with endurance swimming and not to become so fatigued. So that kind of turned things around. And then I just practiced all fall and winter and spring, and then got into the open water with him. And then also I joined the Rochester area triathletes, and they do every Sunday, they do a sprint triathlon where they start off in Lake Ontario and they do the half-mile swim and then the 12-mile bike and then the 3-mile run. So I did quite a few of those in the spring, and that really helped.
I guess I didn't realize that the triathlete group did full triathlons every Sunday. I figured it was just a portion of it that they were working on. So you actually did a triathlon every Sunday.
Pretty much.
Wow.
I think I did maybe 6 or 7 of them, but that really helped a lot. But I never would have considered myself a swimmer. And if it hadn't been for the injury, I don't think I would have ever learned to swim or gotten into triathlons. So something positive came out of something that I thought at the time was catastrophic. So I'm almost grateful that I went through that because I wouldn't have discovered this otherwise.
What would you say is your favorite part of the triathlon? I mean, I know you're coming at it from a running perspective, but it seems like you've really embraced the swim, and we have yet to talk really about the bike.
I really enjoy the swim. I don't enjoy it so much when it's wavy, but there are times when the waves are behind you, pushing you, that it's a really cool experience. So yeah, I do really like the swim. I'm hoping for the Finger Lakes Triathlon that it's calm, because I haven't swum yet in like really calm water for one. So I did the Peasant Man and Keuka Lake, and that was kind of rough. And then the Rochester Triathlon was a little wavy. So we'll see when it's flat if it's even more enjoyable. So
when is the Finger Lakes Tri? Is that's a couple weeks?
Yeah, September 10th.
Okay. What's the distance on that, Sarah?
So it's still a half a mile.
Okay.
About half a mile. It's like 750 meters. And
Gotcha.
yeah, and the biking is pretty new to me as well. I just got a bike this past May, and I've just been riding the course when we do the Sunday sprints with Rochester area triathletes. And I do enjoy the cycling as well. So it's opened new doors.
Now, Sarah, when was it that you were able to start running again?
I don't think I really got the green light until last December. So my podiatrist just said, I want you to run. So he just wanted me to kind of use those muscles, and I started physical therapy. So that helped a lot, but it was pretty much up until then just being in pain every day.
And it's feeling okay now?
And it's feeling okay now. Yeah.
Yay. If my share button, no, not the last. If my share button is working.
I know we've talked a little bit about recovery. How much time do you take to recover now that you've been injured and you're kind of on a different path with the triathlons and the running?
I feel like I've just become very aware of if I'm feeling some aches or pains, just to take a rest day. So, anytime I feel like I've done a really hard workout, I usually will rest the next day.
And when you bike, I'm on the bike thing. Biking is I don't swim, but I'm even more afraid of a bike. Did you have any spills while you were training or anything that, was a little nerve-wracking?
Not really. I am afraid of cars, so I don't really go out that much on the road. I've just done, like the Sundays. Sometimes I'll go like down Winona to Seneca Park, so I'm not on like any main roads and just kind of do the loop over and over again. So far so good. But I think I'm gonna do a lot of training inside on like a trainer this winter, and keep up, some cycling classes at the gym. But it is scary. There are some scary components to it that I've thought about, and I'm trying to be as safe as I can.
Now, do you know how to change a flat tire?
I did go to a flat tire clinic and watch if I don't know if I could do it. I think I could do the front tire. The back tire is a little tricky with the with the gears. So I am afraid of that because you're really not supposed to get any assistance. But I got some pretty heavy duty tires that I'm hoping will keep up. So fingers crossed I can get through one more.
Fingers crossed. So can you talk a little bit about the emotions behind the injury and how it was that you kept yourself positive and forward thinking and not getting stuck in a rut?
It was tough. I definitely felt down a lot of the time. But I think at least being able to get in the pool, I felt like, I was being active and trying to keep my fitness up. I read some books and listened to, there's an injured athlete podcast. And they also have a book, and just reading some of the stories about athletes coming out stronger after the injury, I think that helped as well. And then also just kind of even like fantasizing about, what if I could do a triathlon in the future or like really learn how to swim. I think that helped keep me going, but it definitely was difficult at times.
Sarah, what are some of your goals for the future? Like you definitely have started some triathlon goals. Do you have any specific things coming up this fall or even next year that maybe you're targeting to try?
Well, triathlon wise, I think if you're in the top 2 of any of these races, like the Rochester, I think it qualifies you for nationals in Wisconsin. So I'm kind of hoping I get an email that I get to go to that. That would still be like a sprint distance. I think eventually I'd like to try a longer triathlon, maybe like a half Ironman. But I also want to get back to where I was running wise. So I don't have anything specific, but I would like to try and get back to like a somewhat fast half marathon and eventually I would like to do another marathon. But I don't have anything specific yet. I feel like I'm almost there with the running. I'm not where I was 100%, but there's some glimmers of of hope.
Well, I'm excited for us to go to New Hampshire next month. I think
Yes.
our time at Ragnar is going to be super fun as well. And you must be feeling a little bit better heading into that than you did last year when we went.
Yeah, last year that was the first time that I had run at all, and I wasn't sure what to expect, so I kind of taped my feet up and I was anxious about it, but I really didn't want to miss it. So but this time I know I can do it, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am too. That's going to be such a good time. And you killed it last year for how much you were coming off injury. You were a really strong member of the team. So I'm excited that we're doing it again this year, and we'll have more in the future, I'm sure.
Oh, thanks, Alex.
Yeah. Now, Sarah, before we let you go, I do need to ask you now, when you did the Peasant Man, I think it was a little over a week ago. So how did you finish in your age group?
I got second in my age group.
And then this last weekend, how did you finish?
And then at last weekend, I got first in my age group, which I was, thanks. I was really surprised about, because it was a bigger event and I didn't think I was going to do that well. I didn't really have any expectations. So I'm still kind of in a little bit of disbelief about it. But I'm excited.
We are too. I'm like, I know her. I know her. So Sarah, what would you say if anyone that's out there listening and they've been running and they're experiencing an injury right now and they're not able to run, do you have a couple words of, I mean, this whole thing is words of wisdom to them, but do you have any parting thoughts you'd like to leave with them?
Yeah, I would say try not to get down and think about a setback can be a big comeback, and just to envision what that is going to look like, and it might be something different than what you did before, and just to take small steps. And also I think in the midst of injury to just think of healing is your sport, that you need to just focus on healing yourself like you would be when you're training. So whether that's physical therapy, stretching, whatever it is, that's your sport now, is you're focused on that.
I love that. I am going to use that.
Yeah, I know. I want to steal that too. I'd never heard that before.
That was one thing from the Injured Athletes book that they mentioned a lot.
Can you tell me do you know offhand the author of that book?
I will get it to you. I could probably look it up.
Injured Athletes. And if you get it to me after, I'll put it in at least the description of here, so you can look in the description, and we'll have maybe a link to where you can purchase the book, because that sounds like a book I would like to have on my shelf for sure.
It is.
Well, we know you won't give it to anybody, so
everyone knows how I am with my book.
If you buy it, nobody gets to borrow it.
Oh, it's called Rebound, and it's by Carrie Jackson Cheadle and Cindy Kuzma. Rebound.
Wonderful. Rebound. And I'll put that in the description so you can see it. So Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. I have to say, you're the poster runner, like the poster child for how to get through an injury and to do it correctly. And I hope all our listeners are as inspired as I am by this. I feel like I want to read the book and take all of this into so that if I get injured in the future, I'll be right on the Sarah path.
Oh, thanks, Kelly. Thanks, Alex.
Hey, it was great to talk to you. And it was great running into you the other morning too. That was kind of funny.
Oh,
So
that was.
it was,
It's great for
oh,
those of you listening. We're all neighbors, sort of. We all live within 2 miles of each other. And sometimes if we're not running with each other on purpose, we might run into each other by accident.
Oh.
So thank you guys again for joining us, and to all you listeners out there, because there's so many of you, I'm sure yet. But I hope you register for Heritage Hero. Don't forget the coupon code RWK for your discount, and happy running, everyone.